talk about the career opportunities in the additive manufacturing field. So, especially, do they look for mechanical engineering background or what kind of streams?
So we are teaching even to 10 standard people with no any background. So I would say any background people could come into 3D printing. And if I'm running a company, I would not keep any limitations to certain degrees.
So, folks, you have tuned into TGV and hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series, the world's only quadrilingual podcast at this moment of recording. And we are trying to embark into multiple languages as we speak. And here we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. And we want to simplify and amplify your journey to success. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place by bringing you wisdom through valuable discussions with experts designed to simplify and amplify your success. And thank you so much for tuning in. So, folks, we are joined by a dynamic entrepreneur, Kraveenthar Kamal. He is a mechanical engineer and is the founder of Maker Global. He's the founder of Maker Global, which is creating waves in Indian film industry. We're going to talk about it in a while. And and especially this Maker Global is a leading startup in additive manufacturing and with a passion for design and innovation. And Kamal has revolutionized the 3D printing landscape in India, serving clients from Tata Aerospace to the Indian Army, and also contributing to the film industry by creating props for major Telugu films. All right, so today we are going to have an interesting conversation on the topic at hand, from student to innovator and crafting the future with the 3D printing. There is an exciting twist as always. Let us tickle our guest's brain first. So Kamal, get ready for a rapid fire round of random words, and I'll mention a few. Okay, and I would love to hear the first thing that comes to your mind in response without thinking much. So if you're ready, let's get started.
Sure.
All right, so my first word to you is curiosity.
3D printing.
Future.
Future is growth. It's all about growth.
All right, universe.
Opportunities.
Leadership.
I would say Ratan Tata.
Amazing. Unfortunately, he's no more and he's the great inspiration to most of us. And my next word is success.
It's a journey.
Disruption.
Mastering your skill.
Sustainability.
Building your character along with your success. Balancing it.
Collaboration.
Growth.
Creativity.
It's a must.
Vision.
It's a pan-India maker studio.
Wow. I'm sure it will be a reality for sure. And then comes the word entrepreneurship.
It's me.
Perfect example. All right. And here comes the last one, technology.
3D printing.
Awesome. And Kamal, thank you so much for participating in the first rapid fire round. There is one more rapid fire round towards the end of the episode, so stay tuned. And first of all, hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series. And I'm super excited to have you part of our journey.
Same here, same here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, pleasure is mine. And let's get the ball rolling. Kamal, we'll begin with your guiding voice. Talk to us about who is your guiding voice.
It's actually me. It's actually the younger me who always wanted to grow in his life. Coming from a middle class family, the one thing which I always had in me is I need to grow. Right when I came from a tier 2 town, got an opportunity to study in a very renowned Loyola College, Chennai. And from my first day, I was always keen on looking how to grow, how to learn, how to grow. There is one guiding voice which kept on telling me, grow in your life, right? So every opportunity or everything, I won't say I grabbed every opportunity or I was always, let's say, 60-70%. Even that brought me till here. I would say opportunities are always there on the table if somebody wants to grow, and that guiding voice led me to grasp all the opportunities. And even till now, when you grow, you have bigger dreams. You achieve one place and you have another goal, but the one guiding voice which led me keep on taking those major opportunities and grow is just me.
I love it. And as you rightly mentioned, once we achieve success again, the bar raises and we chase on next big thing. So wonderful. So Kamal, talk to us about your success mantra, as in the top 3 things that have contributed to your success so far.
What contributed to my success? I as I said you in the rapid fire round, success is a journey. Like when I started as a very young 21-year-old person, I always thought, like if I make a printer, it's a success. If I have a team, it's a success. If I make a certain turnover, it's a success. But what I realized so soon in life is, this fast track success won't stay, number one, and success can never be a goal, right? It's always a journey. Like when you represent an industry, you want to excel in that industry. When the industry is so big, you want to grow big in that industry. For example, let's say you, Naveen, let's say if you wanted started your podcast, maybe a goal, subscribers or certain things would have been your thing, but once you achieve that, maybe your vision and your dreams would have expanded, right, Naveen?
Absolutely. So we started with the English podcast, but now it's in 5 languages, and my vision is expanding as we speak. Yeah, you're right.
Right, exactly. A big journey, Naveen. So I would say right now the success is a journey, and what contributed is, as I said you before, my parents, my family background, and my Chinnanana, in Tamil we call it as Chittappa. I come from a town in Trichy. Chinnanana, he used to tell me, when you're settled, maybe you don't have that rush or fire to find something. When you come from a middle class, there is one very good thing about it. You're always in an undying desire to find something, catch an opportunity. That led me, that background gave me a big plus to start looking for things, number one. And when I chose mechanical engineering and when I luckily got into 3D printing, this futuristic technology actually contributed for me to learn more every day. And I started learning more every day. And this entrepreneurship, pushed me to the greater height. If I would have started as a employee somewhere, I don't know if the system would let me to explore this many things. But when you are an engineer, you have to explore accounts, you have to explore HR, you have to explore leadership. Your team has to respect you. They want to, they'll see you as an example. You have so many hats you wear, so many responsibilities you have as an entrepreneur. So this entrepreneurship also, pushed me to the very best edge of me to keep learning every day, actually. So I would say these three things are the things which will just contributing to my success, actually.
Good one. So you're just not an engineer, but you're everything as you step into the world of entrepreneurship. Wonderful. I would like to understand the challenges that you have faced when founding this Maker Global. And I know, like, we met at the TEDx event, and I was really impressed by the kind of stories that you have shared. And right, so I would like you to share that with our community as well. So talk to us about your challenges and also how did you overcome them.
The challenge is looking so small right now, but when I started 21 age, every year or every stage, I have faced little challenges. The very first challenge is the challenge which I faced inside me, inside brain, right? I could do this. When it was very crazy idea. I mean, it's like, like back in 10 years, when you want to start a startup, there is no startup ecosystem at all. Zero. If you go and tell anybody I'm going to start a company, they would stop and think, is he thinking correctly or not? How can he form a company? People always thought company is a very big thing. It's a 100 employee thing, 1,000 employee thing. People never thought we are chasing a salary, right? We are always chasing one small salary 10 years before. And people never ever thought if you could find an opportunity with you can employ people and you could earn something and you could earn for your team as well. And if you could solve a demand in the market, there is people who needs a product or who needs a solution. So if you could solve it, it's a company, it's a startup. But people didn't thought about it. Even when I had no guts saying my father also. I quitted. I was working in a startup. I quit working there, and I had this crazy idea overnight. I want to make a printer because I had this beautiful exchange program when I'm in college. I went to France. I made a printer. So because of that experience, I don't know. I had no idea this is going to haunt me back one day where I'm going to start a company in 3D printing. But when I actually looking for ideas how I need to start, which is the one I have to pick, 3D printing came to me, and I have this. I mean, when it occurred me, it was an Eureka moment. It's a spark, it's light in my brain where overnight I had this idea. I don't know how to start now. I was having a friend, a very good friend. He's called Jeevan. Even today, he wished me on a TEDx talk which published recently. So he just said, I was just worrying about funding and all that. He just said, I have an uncle, I'll go bring money. So he had no idea. He know me only for a few months. He's like, you believe that you can make a printer and sell? Okay, come on, I'll bring money. He just introduced me to his uncle. We got some small funds to open office to buy a printer. I would say that's a daring step or a challenge I faced inside me to take the decision. The biggest thing about starting up is to start up. If you can actually start, things will push you. You can't close. If you're so passionate about it, you can't close a startup. If you're keep on thinking and if you never started, right? I mean, it would be only in your dreams actually. So the first step of me coming out of my thinkings and procrastination and then started the company with some small funds, that I would say one challenge. And after that, if I look back right now, everything looks small challenge. We faced other couple of challenges. We faced challenges with the team. I was from Tamil Nadu. I came to Hyderabad. Hyderabad gave me a biggest platform, and it's just a startup city right now in India, right? Lot of growth, lot of opportunities. Next to Bangalore, we have so many of very good living cost here, very good startups and companies coming here. I came to Hyderabad, and it gave me a book boost when I started this company. But what I faced is, it's a startup, and I'm in a different state. People come as an intern, and they are not staying. I had this problem with people, team in the beginning, and then is when that is one challenge I faced, and somehow I figured out, got some good people after that. Then it got stabilized. I got a team to continue R&D actually. Before that, it was only me, and the initial hiring was a big challenge. And then after launching, the import culture started in India for 3D printing. So our R&D cost became very high, and import cost became very low. So we couldn't launch our product. That was the second big problem I faced. And we got into services. We started making things for people. And then later, I used all my R&D knowledge to make big machines, industrial machines, which never was a problem to industries. They buy at a very good cost because they need good product. So these are all my maybe top three challenges or small challenges, I would say, like starting up, and then the initial hiring issue when my mind was totally disturbed by the first few months. Later, when all my energy, all my effort into R&D gone wrong, I didn't stop there. I want to proceed. I want to go ahead with services. But that is one challenge which I always marked in my mind. I'll bring back the R&D in some way to again launch my product. So that was the three things. And after that, Naveen, you know how it is to run a company. We face challenges every day, and at a certain point, you would start accepting that with a smile, right? You would see everything as a small challenges, because your capacity and your confidence level grows, and then you see a big magnitude of challenge, and all the small magnitudes becomes normal, and you will start accepting in your life, in this entrepreneurship life, challenges is like tea and biscuit every day. You have to keep having it every day. That is what making you an entrepreneur. That is what making you to run a company. So now I'm chilled. I'm ready to face challenge. If I don't have challenge in a day, I feel it's boring. I need challenges every day, right? That's a thing.
Whatever the obstacle that comes our way, right? Initially, it seems so humongous, massive, and all. But once we take over, and if you look in the hindsight, it looks so small, right? Yeah. And as you rightly put, it is good to have challenges. And recently, I came across this book, Obstacle is the Way. And if you look at that, author has narrated wonderful stories in terms of how we have to look at opportunities in the problems that we come across, because if we solve the problems, then only we'll be successful. Amazing. I like your story. And let's move to the next one. So did you ever feel like quitting, and if so, how did you convince yourself to persevere?
This is one nice question, because I would say I am me because of one thing called never giving up. I'm a very mad person about that. You say you can't do it, I'll not accept. At any situation, if I don't have funds, if all my team left me, even right now, or whatever. So I have this very good or bad quality where I can't give up. That is one thing actually, the thing which overcome this quitting mindset. When I started in the beginning, for first 9 months I was alone. I didn't hire any people. I was only doing training by myself, and I didn't said to my parents I started a company. After 6 months, I said. So every day I was having one small office, one computer, one 3D printer, and one dream. Right, one big dream of being running a big company. See, all the questions that you asked me is pushing me back to the starting stage only, because all my challenges, all these things, all these feelings are in the beginning stage only. Once you cross a certain period, it goes. You are set actually. But in the beginning, I had a lot of mindset issues. Like every day I used to wonder, what am I doing here? I had very low sales. Am I doing correct? All my colleagues have joined in a company, right? And that's a mechanical engineering was a big boom that time actually. It's a core industry, and everybody were getting placed in very good companies actually. All my colleagues are getting placed. They're getting a decent salary. I started this crazy thing called starting your own company with one 3D printer. So, am I doing something right, or am I going to destroy my own career? And I didn't even say to my parents. So, the mindset, the inside me, questioning me every day, that is the biggest hurdle I have to face. I have to tell my inside me saying that, no, you're doing right. You have to stay for some time. You have to find your first client. You have to find your next 10 client. You have to I need some sort of motivation to continue growing. I was not having that. For 9 months, all I was doing training. I couldn't able to start my R&D to make machines because I had no enough funds. And suddenly, I got this one opportunity from a college in Punjab. They called me for a whole college 3D printing workshop. That was my first college event, and that became a milestone. After I came back from Punjab, my whole mind have changed. Okay, I was recognized as a company, and I've been called to teach, and everybody loved the training. And then I realized, okay, I can talk. Okay, I can train. Okay, I'm not somebody who are one among everybody. I have some special skills. I have some edge over others. So I started realizing my inner potential, and then never. I kept on exploring things. But if you ask me, I still get this feeling, am I doing everything? Because you start taking bigger risk, Naveen. Like when you quit in the beginning, you could lose little. When you're 8 year, 10-year old, you have invested too much machineries, too much of things around finance around the company. When things go wrong, you always have this feeling inside, is everything correct? If I fall, things going to be very big. But if you look back, you have done so much thing in your company. You have put too much of your life into the company. If you think about it, you can never quit. I mean, even in the beginning, I never quitted. What is the reason now to quit? I've grown a brand and it's ranking number one in Google. And even if I want to quit, my customers won't let me quit. They'll come and catch me. Kamal, where are you going? I need this 3D print. All my movie people will be like, so that is the thing. Your brand have grown bigger than you. Your brand have grown bigger than your insecurities. And now it is me who should not monetize, I would say. I have to serve them properly. At the same time, financially, I have to balance my company, grow, and they will let me run very big actually, because we serving a real purpose. There are so many companies who have no product or service. They push and sell. There is nobody wants it. They push, they sell. We solving a real demand, so people can't leave us. At the same time, we can't leave them. So now there is no option of quitting. And if I ever feel like quitting, I would say never. But I had this inner voices which was scaring. I overcome all those in the beginning, and the attitude is never having a plan B, never quit. The only simple answer is don't quit. That's the answer actually.
Wonderful. Yeah, I love it. So you mentioned about your friend's uncle funding your startup and also giving that particular talk at the college, right? Other than that, is there any other turning point in your career, and how has it changed the trajectory of the business?
Like every industry, like when we got the very first big project in every industry, that gave us a big portfolio. So if you take aerospace, we got this big projects from Tata units in Adivatla, where that led to a benchmark in aerospace industry, where and that the same way we touched neurosurgeons in medical, we touched top director in movie. So that gave me a big turning point or big portfolio edge for me to convince every other clients in the same industry easily. And if you come to my office and you're from any industry, in every industry I have a major client who's a big name. And that big project, I would say, whenever I got that opportunity of getting that big project from the big client, that became a biggest milestones or biggest turning points of my company. That gave me the big growth actually. And the big turning point, I would say, is it's a steady growth. I mean, like there is never a huge bill. I mean, never a funding. We are still a bootstrapped company. There is never a single big opportunity which led a big crash actually. So it is a steady growth. I mean, I would say.
Awesome, I love it. And what is the most challenging product that you guys have delivered so far?
So when you run a rapid prototyping company, so the thing is time versus product. People don't give you time. So in a 3D printing company, and the whole industry exists for that reason only. They want rapid prototypes. They want things quicker. They don't give you months of time to deliver anything. It's usually a day or a half day to 2-3 weeks maximum. That's it. So even the biggest projects we have done have lasted 3 weeks. That's all. So for example, I would say a very prestigious rocket company in Hyderabad, the first private rocket company, and you know who it is. And like they gave us a big rocket model order. It's a 15-meter rocket, and the challenge is to make it in 2-3 weeks. And I would say the magnitude of that project is bigger, and that project is hanging on a big wall. It's a very 800 kg rocket model. It's a realistic rocket model, completely made accurate. And there is one more we did it, a 6-meter outdoor actually. The amount of engineering involved in balancing the weight, also getting the aesthetics right, also delivering at the right time, and for that big client was most challenging project actually. So when we delivered that thing, that gave us a huge confidence for us and the team, and that was one of our favorite project. I would call that as one good project actually.
And other than manufacturing 3D printers, how does this Maker Global contribute to sectors like defense and film? You mentioned about working with a major film director, right? I don't know if I can take the name, but I would like to hear from you. So can you share any other interesting projects that you have worked on? Because it is going to motivate people. Because initially, when you embark on entrepreneurship, everything seems to be unclear, and also people have that self doubt. But as you progress, some big shots come our way in terms of providing that opportunities. And again, it comes with a risk also. In case if we do well, our life is settled. But at the same time, if you don't do well, everything that we have built, right, that will go in into vain, right? So that hence the question.
So, as your question, defense and film. So, when we started, in couple of years, we started working with defense. It started with one project. Like in Hyderabad itself, we have so many defense units. So we started working with, mechanical, electronic, robotic defense solutions. People out there protecting us, they want good projects to protect them. We are working for, tackling solutions. For example, there are thermal image cameras. There is an army person always looking into thermal image camera at night to see is there any intruder in 360 degree of their camp. So we made automatic pan and tilt thermal image camera units where the person can relax. It'll give a beep whenever there is an intruder, and we have laid up PIR sensors where the pan and tilt can rotate automatically whichever degree the person intruder is coming. Like this, it's a small example. Like this, we started working on so many defense electromechanical projects in the beginning. And the thing about defense and film, it has one common point. The word spreads. If you've done one good project to any of one of them, and they start referring you like a rapid fire, it became I would say the defense and film is something which actually accelerated our growth. People started referring us to many defense units. There are so many defense units in every city, pan India. We started working from Kerala to Jammu and Kashmir. We are working in every state because the officers keep transferring, and also the officers refer people in different states, and we get calls from pan India. We worked on many defense projects. We even worked on some weapon parts which can't be procured locally. People in India, there are some weapons locally, not locally made, and you can't find spare parts for that. So we started making those spare parts also for them, actually. So people started considering us as a manufacturing partner for every of their needs in defense. And we supplied machines, 3D printers, we supplied electromechanical projects, we supplied metal parts, weapon parts in defense. And when I say defense, every major units. And film, so it all started with a movie called Antariksham. Like there is a Telugu film Antariksham, Varun Teja's movie. And there is one evening, this is when our company was 3 year or 4 year old, and there is a very brilliant costume designer, Ashwin. He walked into our office, and this is the first time. We never worked in film. We don't know how they work. We work like a corporate. We raise an invoice, we raise a code, send it in email, get it approved, all these things. But film doesn't work that way. They come, they have urgent requirement, get it done. It's a different way of the work. So they come in the evening at 4 p.m. They said, Varun Tej sir, Aditi Rai ma'am, they're all in a CG shot, space helmets. They are rotating on a CG shot, and the helmets were very heavy. And they said, Kamal, same design, same helmet. They brought a helmet. They want the exact replica in a lightweight. I have to redesign the whole thing. So it's just a product with me. There is no design. My team, my teammate, who's a very 7 year old employee, or I would say a partner, he's Mr. Selvam. He's there with me for 7 years. From the beginning of my career, I said, there is a challenge in finding the right team. I found the right person, Selvam, who acted as a co-founder from the beginning. Traveling with me. He was a designer back then. He designed that helmet, and overnight helmet and overnight printing. Morning we delivered 2-3 helmets. Later we delivered many. So that was the first time we saw lightweight props. How does it help films? We started with Antariksham, and then again, as like defense, the word spreads. Many art directors, many art director assistants, they start looking for 3D printing solutions in movies. If you look at Hollywood and international movies, they portray things very detailed, right? A good storytelling need not only cinematography, good camera, good director. Sometimes even the props has to depict your story, right? It has to be good looking. Like when you say Mahabharatam, it has to have that level of props. When you say a normal colloquial movie, that's a different story. So depends on the age of the movie. You need all the props to be very good and accurate and more detailed and intense. People was doing all this carpentry based props, movie props back then in India, where things are very less detailed. Very, very less detail. When 3D printing came, Bollywood and all these people started adapting to 3D printing. They go to a 3D printing company, get anything designed, any high detailed thing, and do it. If you go to a normal art maker, he would hand make things in 5, 6, 7 days for a heavy let's say Greedom, he will take a lot of time. But what we do, we just design in 2 days, print it in another 2 days, and if the design is simple, it will happen in hours. So we actually started accelerating art props, costume props, and even stop motion analysis, all these things we started accelerating for them. They loved it. Art directors and art director assistants, they loved this idea. They said, okay, if I want something crazy overnight, if I have an idea, I can go to Maker Global. They'll design it for me. They'll make it for me. So this word spreaded. And in Hyderabad, like Tamil industry, Bollywood, and all this, Telugu movie industry was growing like anything. You would have noticed this over the last few years, right? Maybe pre-Bahubali, post-Bahubali, you can say. So our Telugu movie industry is growing in so big way. I recently met a big cinematographer, Naveen, and he's from Tamil Nadu, from my own hometown. And he is also appreciating Telugu film industry, the way they take it in a big magnitude here. He was appreciating that. Maybe I would say, being in Hyderabad and meeting all these wonderful art directors and all the wonderful projects they do, they need this wonderful 3D printing technology also to contribute. So things went welfare. We started doing many props for many people, and I would say I even worked with the legendary director Rajamouli garu for couple of things. I even met him once, and I spoke to him in phone multiple times. And with his team, I worked multiple times, multiple projects. I met Sir once actually also. And as you rightly said, Sir reads the best quality. Every best directors I work with, they are legendary people. And when they meet you, they see you as an expert in the field, and they want best solutions from you. So I make my team, myself, put the 300% extra efforts to deliver the absolute best products for everybody, including the legendary people actually. That's how our defense and film story goes, Naveen. And it's going good actually. We are doing for a lot of movies now.
Glad to know that, and really inspiring journey. So I would like you to double click on your experience working with the legendary director SS Rajamouli. And for those of you who are not familiar with, I think it might be a misnomer if I say that, but definitely, since we have global audience, Mr. SS Rajamouli is the director of the famous Bahubali series. Okay, and Kamal had an opportunity to work with him. So Kamal, talk to us about what did you learn from legendary director?
I learned humbleness from him actually. Like when I met him, I got this call. I was working with Sir's assistant and Sir's designer, and I was working with the Srivali ma'am. We was working for Triple R. We did some guns. Overnight in 2-3 days, we printed a lot of guns, dummy guns, revolver guns, and we sent to the shoot in Maharashtra somewhere. RRR, that last what do you call that? Jungle scene is happening, that British has a lot of revolvers in their hand. We supplied all these small revolvers. So we work with all of their team, but it's always my dream to meet him, right? Like a fanboy. I may be anything, but it's always equally I'm a fanboy to meet him, because Naveen, if you are a technological entrepreneur, you love seeing those people who uses technology to the very best, and that visionary people, right? And meeting Rajamouli sir is one of my dream always. And I got a call. I got a call from one of the team member and said, "Sir wants to meet you. There is upcoming Mahesh Babu sir's movie, whether we are making some coins and all. So the club scene, there are some coins has to be made. He want to discuss directly with you." So we worked with him in phone and with all the team, but I never met him. So I was like, "This was short notice. Can you come in 40 minutes?" So I rushed. I went actually. I made my team bring some samples along the way. I carried those samples. I met him at Tellapur office, and he's very, very humble, and I had this huge heartbeat till I reach his room. But after I reach his room, I'm completely normal. The reason is he made me so comfortable. He's a very raw, genuine, humble person you can meet, and he sets the table in such a way. He listens to you like a customer. He listens to you like a student. I am talking 3D printing technology to him. Maybe he know all the answers. He's listening to me in such a way. He completely listening, completely like a student. We were talking 3D printing, FDM, SLA, SLS. How does it differ? What benefit we have in this each technology? What is the finish difference? And we have this new method called vacuum casting, where you could get a good design in a smaller quantity in high strength. I was explaining vacuum casting, and he repeated, "Kamal, I didn't understood what is vacuum casting. Kamal, can you tell me that again?" So I was explaining vacuum casting more in detail, and we had a wonderful conversation. And the one thing I learned from him is he's always open to learn technologies, because so that he could use it in movies, right? He could make best movies with best materials. See, it is not always Naveen, it's a responsibility of art directors to know things. It is the directors who learn things every day to actually make better props, better movies later. And whenever I met Rajamouli sir, I happened to work with his futuristic movies, not the present one, and which made me know that he always prepare himself. All great directors, when they got time, they're preparing themselves for the next movie. They make the important things they're learning and they're doing. So that is the one good time I met. And what I learned from is humbleness, set table equal for newcomers and young people, and he's giving opportunity to all vendors and all young vendors, and humbly listening to them. So that's the best quality I learned from him, Naveen.
So what I noticed, right, after interviewing 700 plus people, real successful people are humble. Like they are humble and they have that particular interest and curiosity, and they ensure that there is something in the other person to learn, right? So I think you might have experienced similar thing in Mr. Rajamouli. And let's move forward. I'll ask you to take a step back and answer this question in terms of what sparked your interest in the field of 3D printing industry. Because I'll tell you my experience with 3D printing experience. I was with GE for about 11 years, and GE was the pioneer in the additive manufacturing space, right? We have whenever there is a new technology, in fact we spoke about digital twin way back in 2010. Okay, so that is how advanced GE was at that point in time, and I came across this 3D printing and I felt, yeah, this has a bright future, right? So I would like to understand from you what sparked your interest in this particular field.
The particular field, right? Yeah. So, like when I finished my engineering, I got this, campus placements, MRF, or a couple of big companies have come. But the selection round is like you call hundreds of people and then tens of people are shortlisted and one is being awarded a job. And I didn't got a job. So went to the final round and I went back to my hometown, and I was equally, I'm passionate in design. When you say mechanical engineering, there are different fields: design, production, quality. I got to know I'm good in design during a project. One of my very good professor made me realize, because of the project, I realized I'm good in design. So then I understood not everybody could think on design and product design well. You have a talent, you use it, and you get into design field. That is my strong belief. So I want a design job, no matter where it is. I'm waiting for what do you call job offers. And the first job offer I got is from Hyderabad. It's a startup, and it's a very small 5 people startup. And I said my parents, and my dad doesn't know anybody in Hyderabad. He's calling everybody. Do you know anybody in Hyderabad and all? Nobody knows anybody in Hyderabad. So I fighted with him. I took a step and I said, I'm going Hyderabad. I took a Charminar Express. I came to Hyderabad from Chennai. That is the best, maybe a journey I've made, to Hyderabad. And after coming here, I was working in 9 months. I was working in a nice industry called product design industry, Naveen. Like it's not industrial design. You make big things. You are into product design. You have to make a product. Let's say, how does it work? How does it holds? How people are, how the human is interacting with the product. So the product designers has to be made in for people actually. So, and along with this, as I said you from the beginning of my small age, I want to grow and grow big, and I always want to break the stigmas, right? Working for somebody, not working for somebody is bad. It's the culture of what you need and what society could offer you, and if there is another one solution, people are not going for it. They're not taking a daring step to go for it. I was exploring all this, and I decided I want to make a product. It's more about not starting a company. It's more about launching a product. I want to launch my own product. I want to make a product. I started getting all these crazy ideas, a hand cranking charger, and I would name many things that look very, very, very crazy. And I found out everything in Alibaba. Whatever I'm thinking, I'm just going to AliExpress, Alibaba. It's there out. I could just buy in $1. I'm like, why I have to do all this R&D, which is already existing product, and I'm keep looking for new product ideas. And I said I went to exchange program to France, where I did a 3D printer there. I had no idea back then, and suddenly, Naveen, after so many weeks of daily night thinking, I'm lying in my hostel bed, and I was in a PG in Hyderabad, and this 3D printer somehow came into my mind. When you meet your future wife, like how, I don't know how, let's say Rajamouli sir's movie, Madira, how Ramcharan meets Kajal Agarwal. Like you get a spark the same way. I would call it in a similar way. The reason is, you get lot of ideas, right? But when you get the right idea, when the universe want to tell you something, it'll make your brain glow, basically. I experienced the same glow. I was lying at 3 a.m. and the kind of energy it put me back. I started walking, went down. I started walking very fast in my parking in PG, and I couldn't sleep for next 3 hours. I was like, yes, this is the technology. It is futuristic. It has future growth. I'm not going to do any price bid with anybody. I'm getting into technology where I could see a big future. I can build products in 3D printer. Not only 3D printer, there are a lot of services around, and it is just not a product. It is actually a whole business together. The technology itself is a big idea. So I went to Amazon. I went to Googled. I mean, I saw less 3D printers listed back in 10 years before in Amazon, India. And I thought, why it is very expensive? I know how to make a printer. Let's make a printer. So that was my one idea. After that, like I started researching, I started taking international case studies, how, what do you call crowdfunding? There is something called crowdfunding now, where you could make one prototype, put it in a crowdfunding platform, people could pre-order your product. I got this crazy idea, let's do a crowdfunding platform, make a one part actually, one printer. So that is how all this started. And as I said, why 3D printing? I did a 3D printing project back in college, but I had no idea that would cross my mind in the future. It actually fortunately crossed, and it became a best thing. I mean, like if I took some other technology, I don't know if I would have went into a price war between many competitors. But me being a yearly starter in this technology in Hyderabad, there is two things happen good here. Hyderabad is growing and the technology is growing. And I am just at the right age, 21. I have a lot of time till I get married. That's a three good thing I got. Like if you start your company at maybe 26, 27, you got a lot of responsibilities around you, right? People start, there is a time bomb for everybody. But I started at 21 age, which gave me a lot of time to fail and explore. So, I started in a beautiful city, very good technology at a right age. And this is the best time to start. So that gave me a big edge with the whole thing, Naveen, actually. And how I got the idea is I did a course back in France, actually.
All right, so now let's talk about the career opportunities in the additive manufacturing field. So, especially, do they look for mechanical engineering background or what kind of streams?
Yeah, so when I say 3D printing, you have to do good design also, and you have to do a lot of machines involved also. So we are teaching even to 10 standard people with no any background. So I would say any background people could come into 3D printing. And if I'm running a company, I would not keep any limitations to certain degrees, because I know this technology can be learned by anybody. But mostly mechanical engineers are mostly learning and making a good opportunities, because when you're a mechanical engineer, you'll be placed in certain companies, and the companies want you to know 3D printing beforehand, because they'll be having machines. They need to do prototypes because they are in research. They have to do quick prototypes in their company to accelerate the product development. So in your resume, 3D printing or additive manufacturing become a big keyword right now. If you learn 3D printing or additive manufacturing in your college very well, not to the theory level, in a very good level, and all the companies are going to see that as a very good skill in your resume, and that would place you very good in additive manufacturing companies itself, or else in any company, because you just name a company and you know very well. So every company uses 3D printing now, right from product design to architects to movies to aerospace to medical to dental to jewelry. Every industry uses 3D printing now. The technology have went deeper into the every industry, and it is revolutionizing the industry. So I would say the opportunities are so huge if you are learning additive manufacturing right now.
And how are the business opportunities in this field? And do you recommend somebody to get into it? And if so, what traits do they need to possess to be successful?
Yeah, I would say the opportunities are so big, because when I mentioned you jewelry, when I mentioned you dental, the 3D printing solutions you can give for jewelry is a big business. 3D printing solution you can give for mold making, for clear aligners and all that, it's a big industry. So many people could come, they could become excellent certain things. You could start as a general company and have big team and big departments to get into everything, or else you could start a very specific application oriented 3D printing company. For example, somebody is 3D printing rocket bodies in US. They're printing only rocket bodies. I went to a 3D printing company in Mumbai. They have 100 dental labs associated with them. The clear aligners they put for the teeth, that needs a mold basically. That mold is scanned from the existing teeth and is 3D printed. Before they used to do all that POP, all that casting and all they'll do. Very uncomfortable process. But now what they do is just a oral scanner. It scans your teeth and gives you a 10 set of correction design, and it gets printed, and a polycarbonate sheet gets molded on that thing, and that is what you wear. It's called clear aligners. So there is huge opportunity in every industry. I would say anybody can come even now in 2024. Start a 3D printing company in any particular industry, and there is a huge market unexplored. People want solutions now. Anybody could come and start providing them. I would say the demands are more, so the opportunity is still there on table actually, and there are very less number of companies in every cities.
Awesome. And also, let's talk about any new technologies or innovations in 3D printing that you believe are going to significantly impact the industry in the next few years.
So bio 3D printing is growing so bigger. You could print real skin tissues. There are gelatin based, ink based, and 4D printing is coming. It is how you print something and you put it in another chemical and that starts reacting. So you get a shape from technology and you use other chemistry to get it working. So bio 3D printing is going to go bigger. Imagine, Naveen, there are so many people waiting to get a donor kidney or donor organs, right? And imagine you could print the real tissue. You could print real, permeable, breathable bio parts. That is going to change the future, right? Bioprinting is going to be one thing, and we are making a bioprinter to one of the big research institute here right now. The project just came now. The purchase order just came now. We are doing a coaxial veins and nerves and very minute prints. Our nozzle can print an item with a hole in the middle where it could breathe. So this kind of 3D printers we are doing right now, and the team is a highly technical scientific team who are exploring out in the material level, skin level, tissue level. So the same way, bio 3D printing is going to go bigger and concrete 3D printing is going to go bigger. No labor, very less labor, and impossible designs. Impossible designs you could do in concrete, and the future is more ready constructing. Concrete printing is going to come, bioprinting is going to come, fashion and other accessories and stuff, that also being highly impulsed by 3D printing actually. So there are many technologies which is going to come and change certain industry. One is bio, one is construction, a couple of things. Aerospace, as I said, always it's growing. You could say it will be there always in innovative side, step by step, always it's growing.
Amazing. So, right from mechanical engineering to 3D printing through entrepreneurship, defense, films. So we have had incredible conversation, and it's time for us to add some more spice and some more excitement to the episode.
Hello, I'm Steve Ahern, one of the judges of the Asia Podcast Awards. I'm interrupting this episode to let you know that you're listening to an award-winning podcast. This podcast won its category in the 2024 Podcast Awards, so you know you're listening to quality. Enjoy your listening experience, and congratulations to the team who created this award-winning podcast for you.
So if you're ready, we'll kick off the second rapid fire round.
Yeah.
Okay, and here comes my first bullet. If you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
I would say one layer at a time.
I love it.
That has both meaning in life and also in the technology. One layer at a time.
Deep but simple. Amazing. I love it. And can you describe yourself in just one word?
Dream.
One word that describes your journey so far.
Persistence.
Favorite 3D printing material?
PLA, I would say we use a lot. PLA. It's a polymer, yeah.
A book or resource that inspired you the most?
Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. In my time, he's a big inspiration for me.
In fact, I'm privileged to meet him once during my GE days. If you could collaborate with any designer, who would it be?
Elon Musk.
I'm sure you will get an opportunity.
He should come into 3D printing. He'll disrupt everything.
And what is the most common misconception about 3D printing?
They say it is slow and weak. It is not.
And your go-to productivity hack?
Eat my favorite foods.
I love it.
That's one thing. But actually, see, whenever I'm down, I just rejuvenate myself eating a good food and come back. But at the same time, one good thing I have is I saw this TEDx talk now in somewhere, and there's this brilliant lady who said that if you let your brain procrastinate, it'll actually start procrastinating a lot. So let's imagine you want to get up and do something. You should not let your brain think actually. This is a hack. You should say, get up and do. That's all. You should purposefully tell yourself, I will not give even a 1 second for my brain to start procrastinating. I'll just get up. So if you want to do something, let's say you want to shoot an email to somebody, start opening that email bar. Just like that. Start typing. If you think, will it be a right time? Can I just do it that time, this time? You will actually start procrastinating. Entrepreneurs procrastinate a lot because we are all perfectionists. I have a biggest problem. I am a perfectionist. Like I want to do everything properly. And this made me delay a lot of things in my life. Later I understood, being on time matters a lot. Being on, time to market matters a lot. And don't procrastinate. And one small trick is don't let your brain think. Before your brain starts thinking and procrastinate, just say go. Just do it. You want to drink a water, just get out and start taking the water. You want to do something, do it. So that's one small hack I have to tweak my brain actually for every small day-to-day life.
So, Kamal, this has been amazing conversation, and I loved the fact that you have been very open, very candid, and your journey is going to inspire millions of aspiring entrepreneurs across the globe. So, I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, and I would love to feature you again and again and bring you back to the platform. So, how is your experience being hosted on TGV, the Guiding Voice podcast?
It's amazing. I mean, I met you at TEDx, as a fellow speaker, and after that I gone through the YouTube videos, and you're already doing international speakers and everything. I thought the Guiding Voice can inspire a lot of people. Like TEDx and Guiding Voice does the same thing. You said this to me at TEDx. You remember, it's like sharing ideas, right? It's like the voice. So if we could inspire people who are stuck in their mind, trying to do something, so that is the best thing we could do. So Guiding Voice is a very good initiative where you're going to bring many people's, or I would say, in a successful journey, their ideas to mass number of people, where it could really be a big impact on their life. So I'm very happy to be part of the show. You're doing a multi-languageable thing, so I'm happy to come up in any things whenever you call me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'd love to feature you in other languages as well. And thank you once again. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us on this conversation. And looking forward to hosting you again. And I wish you and the entire team at Maker Global all the best in everything you do. And I wish you scale more and more heights. And don't forget TGV.
Awesome. It is my absolute pleasure, Navin. Very great spending time with you.
Yeah, same here. All right. Thank you so much. And